Well, it feels good to be back in the old studio, bro, pal. It's been a minute.
It does. A little Monday in the studio, bro. And if there wasn't one thing in this episode that got me going, that's going to bring me to life, Law Prom.
Law Prom. Vindication. The bros were right.
Uh-huh.
Never doubted it for a second.
Oh, man. I can't wait. And also, and it's unconfirmed, but supposedly next week we're getting not only the finale, but also the reunion. Why are they doing this to us?
Why do they do that? Why do they keep shafting this show? The reunions.
Traitors too.
Wait. Well, I don't mind that one as much because we can do like a supersized Traitors episode. Like that's kind of fun. It's a different type of show. I want this one to do next week, and they put him back in the Watch What Happens Live Clubhouse again. Well, we've been there. That's not that doesn't mean shit.
Doesn't mean anything. Let us idiots in there.
Let them at the NBC studios. Why do they keep getting the shaft?
I don't know.
These poor young kids, you know.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter McGooter, because it's been a minute since we've been in here.
As if you don't make up a name for me even when we do it remote.
No, I know, but I just meant like I was going to try to do something. I was like, you know what? Fuck it.
Studio McGee?
No, don't do that.
No?
No, it's uncomfortable. You don't get... it's like inviting yourself to a party. You don't get to make up your own nickname.
I would never invite myself to a party.
Well, then
I probably don't want to go to start
then
off.
Don't make up your own nickname. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm a little tired today. Stayed up late, watched the Oscars. You can blame Adrian Brody because of his long-ass speech.
He had like a 5-minute speech. I heard that. I didn't watch it because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because the movies that the Oscars always... Like, the movies that win Oscars are not good movies anymore. There's very few that I'm like, that one's a standout. I love
Oppenheimer swept last year.
Oppenheimer was great.
Yeah.
But like the
Nora
Oscars
is a good movie too.
The Oscars are Nora was good. The Oscars are no longer what they used to be. Like it was a big deal back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody would watch. Now like I didn't watch. I don't care about award shows anymore.
Fair.
I feel like they've lost their luster.
Yeah. I like to do it because I like to nitpick the things that people are wearing too.
Well,
laying on the couch eating a chicken finger.
Yeah, that's where you get to come in. Like,
should have worn a brooch.
This guy looks like shit as you wipe off your Eagles
standard tuxedo day. Come on,
wiping off.
Where's the flair?
Wiping off mustard from your Eagles sweatshirt. Like get the fuck out of here.
Don't make these people think that I eat mustard with my chicken fingers.
I'll eat mustard with Nug.
I wouldn't. Honey mustard, sure.
Honey mustard, regular
yellow mustard? Really?
Yellow mustard's more of a like a southern thing. Like I did mustard on my French fries growing up.
Oh,
yeah, no, a lot of people don't know that.
I eat that.
No, it's good.
Okay,
it's good.
Yeah.
And there's less sugar in mustard.
Oh well, that's what we have to think about when we're eating French fries.
Yeah.
How can I make this French fry dish healthier?
Mustard.
Less sugar from
mustard.
Ketchup. Yeah.
There you go. You just asked the question and I answered it for you. But we're not here to discuss nutrition or mustard. We're here to discuss Southern hospitality, aka SoHo. And it was another solid episode. We got a lot from Joe. Mm-hmm. We got a lot from Will.
Yeah.
Should we? I might cut this. I don't know. Should we just ask them, the audience, if we should do it?
We can ask the audience. Why not?
We were approached by Will to allow him to come on the podcast to have a discussion. I want to do it, not because I want to give him a platform to vindicate himself, because I want to question him about everything that we've seen over the past couple of seasons. Now, what I don't want it to turn into is him thinking and come on here and leave with like a clean slate. Like this is going to be an opportunity to clear his name.
Yeah, I don't know how we got pegged for this, but we did early on. And I think last year that kind of capped it off was the West interview.
Yeah.
Where we were told that we were just allowing people on to tell their side of the story.
It was that, John Fuda.
Their own narratives. Yeah, well,
Chris.
anything Jersey related is always a nightmare. But yeah, I don't know when we were put into that label.
I don't either.
Because we don't do that.
We don't. I have no intention. I would love to talk to him. I would love to. We've said from day one, we will have anybody on this podcast. I don't care if it's Louis from Jersey. I don't care if it's the biggest villain in Bravo history. We'll have you on, but I'm not going to sit here and give like softball questions and or lob questions.
Do you love your girlfriend?
Yeah. Why do you hate Emmy? Like, if you want to do it, like, if you're listening to this, we're down.
Yeah.
If you guys, our audience, support
Want us
it.
to do it, give us a 5-star review. If you don't want us to do it, give us a 1-star.
No, whoa. No.
Throw the reviews out the window because they don't make any sense anyway.
I love them because we get 1 stars just because a person will disagree with an opinion. They'll be like, love you guys, but how are you going to like be on that person's team? 1 star. It's like, you're actively fucking with our livelihood because you don't agree with one take.
Yeah.
That's okay. Whatever.
It's all right.
Let's get back to this episode. We start out with a split scene. I'm going to go through both scenes individually because it was a nightmare back and forth, so much so I had to split my page in half.
Smart move.
Yeah, I know. I'm very smart. But let's start with Will, Joey, and Brad hitting the links. Not impressed.
No.
Not impressed
Didn't
with
get to see
anybody.
Brad swing, but
Did not get to see
wanted
Brad
to.
swing. I was looking forward to watching Brad swing. Joey Bottles, once he got warmed up, was a little better.
Yeah.
Will, atrocious.
just bad. And he said he hadn't swung a golf club in like 4 years.
I'm thinking more like 28 years.
Yeah.
How old is he? 28, 29?
Sure.
Since birth.
Yeah.
How do you live in Charleston and not be good at
You're
golf?
going to be a lawyer and you're not good at golf.
There's all encompassing.
Yeah.
If you're in Charleston, you should be good at golf.
I
If
agree.
you are a lawyer, you have to be good at golf. I thought.
Hold on. Fair enough. He has been working a 9 to 5.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
It's really tough to be
He's
good at
tired.
golf. I know.
He's really tired. You're right. My bad. My bad. I didn't think about that part. But they ask how's Maddie doing, and obviously we've seen some of the pressure that Joey's been putting on her recently. It seems to be some insecurities leaking through a little bit, but he's not going to let anything slip. So he says, we're amazing. Everything's amazing. But the living situation is starting to wear me down a little bit. And as dudes do, they're going to support their buddy no matter what. And he's going through this whole scenario that is currently taking place. He goes to, what is it called? Daniel Island? Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Island 6 to 7 days a week. She's not staying at his place any nights of the week. Now, is there an argument to be made that they can compromise and split the difference a little bit? For sure. Has this conversation been broached? I don't believe so, because the one conversation we saw was, let's buy a house together, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But I feel like it's gone from, hey, I'm driving to your place a lot, to let's buy a house. And we missed this conversation in between of, it's kind of tough for me to get out here this much as far as Ubers go. Again, buy a car. I don't know why.
Yeah. Why did nobody suggest to him to buy a car?
I don't,
In the middle
no
of all
one's
of
still
this?
done. They've just asked about Ubers.
I don't get it. Like, if you're spending that much on an Uber, that sounds like a month will save you a down payment for a car.
Or go on Craigslist and buy a Bronco, like I said.
Yeah, you could just do that. Or, get one of those street bikes.
There's a lot of options now.
Ooh.
Get a one wheel.
Oh, I was going to say you could start bike taxiing.
Oh, you could
And
do
then just
that.
take the bike taxi there.
Don't do that. Don't, we're trying to get away from
Oh, we're trying to get away from Trevor.
Trevor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy a car. How about that, Joe?
I think if you save the money from an Uber for 2 weeks, you could probably put a down payment on just like a clunker.
You're also on like a hit Bravo show now.
Just
Probably
buy it.
getting paid a good amount.
Just buy a car.
2 jobs.
Buy a car.
Get a
Joe.
car.
Just get a car. I think that solves a lot of these issues. But also, I want these conversations to be had with her and calmly and just say, hey, what do you think about this? I feel like he's so quick to get defensive because she's on a different path right now.
I think that's a huge part of it. I think there's an insecurity that's kind of deep rooted there.
Yeah.
Where when he tells us I go there 6 to 7 times a week, obviously we're going to say, okay, ask her to come over, or just don't go there 6 to 7 times a week. If you're in a healthy relationship, you don't need to be together all the time.
Right.
You can just kind of like let things breathe and spend some time in your own house, not take an Uber. But I think that goes with what we've been talking about for the last 2-3 weeks, pretty much since Vegas. He's worried that she's going to move on without him.
Right.
And it is sort of like a frequency thing where if I'm there every single day, she's not going to forget about me. She's going to remember that I'm here and not move on without me.
That's a
or
good
when
point.
she does move, she's going to bring me with her because I have ingratiated myself in her life.
Correct.
6 to 7 times a week. So that is, I think and he probably doesn't realize this is what he's doing, but it is what he's doing. Nobody in their right mind in like a healthy relationship is going to do that without some sort of thought to, I need to be there all the time because I have to be here. It's not just because you love sleeping with her. It's because you want to be around all the time.
You're concerned. You're concerned that she's going to go on to bigger and better things and leave you in the dust. As you just said, in a healthy relationship, that's not a concern.
Or you could just have a conversation like, hey, how about you come over here sometimes? And if she says no, you could gaslight her and make her feel bad.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. But
Never
no,
come over to my house anymore.
yeah, you hate my house. You hate me. That no.
I mean,
No.
it's what? It's a strategy.
That is a bad strategy that manipulative men use. No, absolutely not.
We're
But
the devil, though, men.
what?
Hannah Berner said that we're the devil.
You're right. You're right. No, don't do that. Do not do that. But there's a middle ground here. And I think that what we need to see, and I'm sure they get to it at some point because obviously they're still together. They still seem like they're madly in love with each other. So at some point, there should be a shift in how these conversations go. Instead of talking to the boys like this, talk to her like this. Hey, I'm worried that you're moving on without me. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable and having the conversation of, I have some, not fears, but maybe I'm a little anxious that you're going on to do amazing things and you're going to forget about me. I think that's a conversation you can have if you bring it up the right way. And I think that's a mature way to do it rather than speculate, get nervous, say too much, challenge her on buying a house, and then go talk shit to your friends. I don't think that's the way to go.
I just love that Brad's part of this now because you have two separate conversations about Joe, and who starts it off by saying everything's awesome and then tells everybody that it's not awesome,
right,
in so many ways. And then obviously you get to talk to Will, and Brad's probably sitting there like, how do I have to deal with all of these?
I'm so glad I'm single. Thank God. You guys reminded me why I'm single. No, but we get to Will and Emmy, and I don't understand how she can watch this show back and be like, I'm so happy I'm with this man.
Yeah.
He's describing their future because they're curious on what's next. And he's like, look, I'm entering a more serious phase in my life, which is also condescending to your friends who are not lawyers, but whatever. I'm entering like a really real phase of my life and I want to settle down and, you know, get a yard and a dog and make some kids or get some kids. He said everything he said was so strangely worded.
On everything he says is so strange.
It's bizarre as shit. And he's like, yeah, and you know what? I want to let her live the housewife life because she's really good at like being my backup. What?
It's a real love letter.
She's really good at being my backup, and she's good at the housewife stuff because she kind of does my laundry and the dishes when she visits me at law school.
If they do get married, I need to hear his vows.
Oh my God.
They will be so funny.
Thanks for backing me up all the time. I'm so thrilled to fuel our marriage. I pump the fuel and you take care of the logistical side of things because that's how a good a good marriage works. I love you? Question mark?
I knew from the day you first did my laundry that I wanted to be with you. When you came and visited me at college and my room was a wreck, you made it look so nice. And I said, wow, I want to exchange and trade a life of having her as my wife so that she can do this forever.
That was terrible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm doing.
No, I know.
I get it.
I get it. I'm saying, yeah.
That's what he's going to say.
It was well done, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
That's honestly what it is. The way he's describing his relationship with Emmy sounds like a business transaction. Brad said it sounds like she's a car. Joe says it's the most unromantic thing he's ever heard in his life, and honestly, it is. He's saying that he owes her because she was good to him while he was at law school. You're right in one aspect. She does take good care of you. She does give a shit. She does put herself out there to try to make this relationship work. We watch you time and time again shit on your relationship, talk smack about it, and not give even close to 50% of what she's giving. So it's kind of embarrassing to then go on and say, I owe her this life that she wants, rather than I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with my best friend whom I love so much. And both of your friends are sitting there like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And you expect us to resonate with you in any way, shape, or form, to be like, you know what? We're just reading this wrong. He does love her. You don't. You don't. You feel like you owe her.
And at least if you really felt strongly about this, you would probably rehearse a little bit better.
Do something.
We saw you in Vegas rehearse this whole story about Austin's girlfriend's brother and bullying you and calling you Bravo boy, and you guys were both on the same page. You know that when you go to situations like this with Joe and with Bradley, that they're going to ask you about your relationship. This is the best you can come up with?
He was caught off guard.
How are you caught off guard?
I don't know.
This is the only thing worth talking about with you because the rest of your life is boring, it's stupid, and we don't care.
Right.
But we care about the Emmy stuff because Emmy is a good person that deserves something here.
She's a good person going through a bad time right now.
We're trying to figure out if you even like your girlfriend, and this is the best you can come up with? Like, at least try to dupe us a little bit.
I owe her.
Yeah.
No.
Break down and cry a little bit, baby.
Fake
give
it
me
to-
something.
Do anything.
You're gonna fake it. Just do something.
Do what you're doing, but like
Yeah.
infinitely better than you're doing it. This was the worst way to describe a loving relationship and a future marriage and a future partnership that I've ever heard in my life. And again, I don't know how she watches that and is comfortable moving forward in her life with this man. He doesn't care about you.
Nope.
He thinks he owes you because you were good to him.
Correct.
That is not a good way to start off the rest of your life.
No.
But anyway, Mia and Maddie, they're hanging out, and I like this duo. You know, they had a lot of fun together in Vegas, and the G Lily stuff comes up. And Maddie does admit, I'm exhausted by Grace. You know, the shit talk from her is pretty crazy. One-on-one, she's accountable, but in a group setting, she gets defensive every time. And Mia is, you can tell, kind of biting her cheek to not say too much here, because she was a witness in Vegas of G Lily being so unappreciative of Maddie. She's like, oh, you never stick up for me. And that's all Maddie really does is stick up for Grace. So watching that is frustrating. And, you know, she claims there's times that, you know, she gives 90 and I give 10 and vice versa. And it's like, well, we really haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to justify
90 is a
it.
lot for G Lily.
Honestly.
For anybody but herself.
Right. I
can't
just
see that.
I don't see it either. I'm not saying she hasn't been there for Maddie at tough times. I'm not saying the friendship dynamic is what it is. Like, there's friendships like that where you just kind of put up with shit. But at the same time, you shouldn't be in a position at a dinner in Vegas in front of a bunch of people when you've advocated for G Lily, even after she boinked O'Sheen, knowing that she was hooking up with Eva. There shouldn't be a moment where G Lily's like, you never stand up for me in front of people. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is very embarrassing. And you said it best. There are friendships like this where you just get exhausted by the other person.
Right.
You still love them. Honestly, and this is going to sound a little cruel, but
If you say I'm exhausted by me, I'm going to be mad.
no, I wouldn't do that. It's going to sound a little cruel from like Maddie's perspective, but it's kind of a blessing in disguise that Grace Lily did hook up with Eva's situationship in O'Sheen, because it kind of keeps her away a little bit while you're living with Eva.
Yeah.
So you don't have to see her as much as you would,
I
and you
see.
wouldn't be
So you're
exhausted.
not as
by her.
exhausted.
Yeah, so like remotely you're exhausted because she's probably texting you or not texting you or whatever's going on. But you don't have to see her all the time because you can just say, oh yeah, I'm staying at home.
Okay.
Maybe that's why she doesn't go to Joe's as much.
Oh, there you go.
She goes to Joe's, all of a sudden G Lily's like,
No,
yeah,
she
I'm going to
pops
come
in.
over.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably it.
We figured it out.
Yep. Got it. But she was DJing in Miami recently, and I guess Joey Bottles was at a wedding, and Mia asked the question, do you see yourself marrying Joe? And I think if you'd asked her this probably 2 weeks prior, she would have been a little bit more positive in her answer. But she responds with, honestly, I'm trying to pump the brakes a little bit because Joe's ready for all of those things. Like everything, marriage, kids, house, he's ready.
You think Joe pulled the groom aside at that wedding and gave him some tips on his vows?
Perhaps.
Hey man, I got married 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, let me tell you.
walk you through this.
Yeah, Elvis helped me with mine. I'll help you with yours. You know. But but she's saying, given her past experiences, recently, by the way, she's not ready. Also, her career is taking off. She's about to do a tour. She's been in Miami. She's been in Vegas. She's on the side of buildings. She has to focus on her shit. And she should focus on her stuff. You know, talking about getting a house. She's like, I want to get a house for me. Absolutely. Buy your own place. Do not go halvesies with anybody. We love Joey Bottles, but don't buy a house with anybody. Buy a house by yourself. Have your own assets. Go run around the country, DJ, build your career, build your own thing, and then you guys can move forward together. But the biggest thing, like the biggest underlying thing here, and it's talked about later on as well, Joey's kind of stagnant right now. He doesn't really know what's next. He's watching. TJ finally found his thing with Sir Wieners. Bradley's got his fitness business. He seems to be doing a lot on his own. So he's kind of found his niche. Joey is the only one kind of still at Republic without prospects of what to do next. I'm not saying he can't figure it out, but you can see that his insecurities with everybody around him are leaking into his relationship and thus affecting Maddie to where she's now wanting to pump the brakes a little bit. But I think, honestly, dude, for her growth as like a human being, this was almost the best thing that could have happened because she had time to evaluate and be like, you know what, I do need to hunker down and focus on my shit so I can be independent and do my thing. And then we can move forward. I was like, you know what, I'm on her team.
Yeah.
Slow down and fucking get your shit together, like crush it with the DJ thing and live your life.
Yeah, and Mia's the right person to talk to because
Definitely.
she is not going to mince words. She's going to give you direct eye contact and telling you that you need to slow down. Yeah, like
she's
just
She gets a little harsh. She's like, fucking pull the emergency cord. Get the hell out of there.
She is not going to look away once. She knows exactly what she wants. She's got good conviction when it comes to talking to her friends about relationships and all the shit that they have to put up with. But you can tell right now the honeymoon's over.
The honeymoon
is over. And even with Joe, in a Joe way, saying that everything's awesome, he's still complaining about something. Maddie also complaining about something. Both views are warranted. Both deserve a conversation.
Yep.
But you can see that they're not communicating that well, and it's going to boil over, and we're starting to see that already.
Yes, we are. And we get to Republic after these first two scenes, and Maddie even says in confessional, just feels like ever since Vegas, Joe is fast forwarding. And I want to pause, if not rewind a little bit, to get back to that happy place where we were just enjoying each other's company without pressure about the future. But Emmy can't go to, like, I'm so happy and sad that we were right about this.
I'm just happy.
I'm happy and sad because I do feel throughout this entire season, I know we've talked a lot of shit. At the root of it, I feel horrible for Emmy, what she's going through. I hope one day she sees it. But regardless, she can't make it to law prom. So she wants to do a little Republic prom. She wants to throw another party for Will. She threw a party for him last year when there was cheating allegations. We have new cheating allegations, which calls for a new party. We celebrate this man cheating year in and year out, and it's the weirdest tradition ever.
Staple of SoHo now.
It's wild.
Season 4 of SoHo. Will's not even on the show anymore because he doesn't want to do this, but we're still throwing a party in his honor.
Yeah.
Because there's new allegations.
Yeah, we heard he cheated again.
Yeah.
So let's have a bat mitzvah.
Why not?
We'll just keep changing up the event. Yeah, why not? The funniest to me is the reactions of everybody. It's like, why are we celebrating this man? I think Molly said that. And then Lake is like, well, make sure you hire a bathroom attendant. And I'm like, boom, hell yeah. Because you know he's going to sneak in there and smooch somebody. That somebody's not going to be Emmy. The old bathroom marauder, as they call
The
him.
bathroom's just calling to him like the Green Goblin mask. Like he walks in and just hears it like, Will.
The stall's moving. Will.
Cheat on your girlfriend.
Come in here and cheat.
Yeah, it stinks in here though. That's gonna be fun.
But that's part of the fun. What the fuck? Anyway, let's get to service. Austin, we get to meet his girlfriend finally. Allie shows up at the bar. Very strange. Very strange. Because Emmy is the first one to greet her, and they hug each other. TJ clocks it. He's like, this is pretty fucking weird considering they think that Big Bro has been talking shit about, sorry, not talking shit, bullying Will at law school, creating rumors because, as we know, law school's super competitive. So you have to bury your classmates. That's part of law school. Did you know that?
I guess.
You have to ruin your chances of any other person in your class getting a job.
Crush them into the ground.
Absolutely. That's what they do on Suits.
Yep.
So, Suits is real. But anyway, the reason that she knows Allie is because their moms have been in Bible study together for years.
I don't believe that.
You think she's lying about Bible study?
Yes. Nobody's going to call her on that.
You did.
I am. Yeah, I don't care. Everything they're doing is a lie. The entire relationship is a lie at this point.
I mean, yeah, but like that's such a weird lie.
Yes, that's the reason.
Okay.
The weirder the lie, the less somebody's going to question you on it. Not that it really matters. It's still very bizarre.
It's still, like, regardless.
It was way over the top for you to go over to somebody who we just heard in Vegas the other day that her big brother is bullying your little Will.
We can't keep a straight face.
I know, I can't.
What are we talking about?
Little Willie. He's getting bullied. Everybody's got to stop what they're doing. Make sure he's okay.
We need to throw a party immediately.
You don't go over. You can go over and say hi, but you don't give her a big hug and say, wow, you look great, and try to like linger around to see if she says anything. That's what she's doing. She's trying to find out some dirt. I do think that deep down, Emmy does think that there's something going on, but she's sticking by her boyfriend, and she's trying to find out on her own.
I mean, you can't fault her for being loyal. I will say that. She is loyal to a massive fault, but this is what we don't need to see. We do not need to see Joe and Maddie getting into it on the floor.
No.
All right. We've been in this.
Not on Michols' time.
Fuck no. Michols ain't going to put up with that shit. We know that. Because
job's on the line.
This episode just furthered the fact that this is a 40-year-old man in a 21-year-old's body.
Yeah.
He is the most mature guy on all of Bravo.
Yep.
It's pretty wild to watch. But it's such a terrible look, and they're arguing over who needs to go out on the floor. And I guess because Joey's claiming it's a $3,000 table, we need all hands on deck. Now, it's just a coincidence that $3,000 table happens to be his boy from Atlanta.
Not sure it's a coincidence, but yeah.
I'm not saying money-wise. I'm saying the fact that he needs all hand on deck for his butt.
Yeah.
That's my point.
No, that's a very good point. That's what he wants. He's showing out for his friends that came up from Atlanta.
Right.
That's all it really is.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the money.
If it was a different $3,000 table, he probably wouldn't care as much.
Correct. No. Maddie's saying we need Siobhan out there because Leah said so. Leah?
Leah.
Leah?
Leah.
Leah?
It's Leah, I think.
Okay, Leah. L-E-A.
Uh-huh.
Leah.
Leah.
Okay, cool. We're going with that.
Yep, don't get stuck.
I'm so stuck. But anyway, Leah said Siobhan needs to be out there. Someone needs to be out on the floor. You can't have everybody in the back. They're fighting back and forth. It's so stupid. It's so worthless. They don't need to be doing this. You can tell, like you said, the honeymoon phase is over. They're just at the bicker point. Mm-hmm. And I think this is important because this is like a make or break moment. I feel like a lot of relationships have this progression. Yep. Honeymoon phase is over. We're going to argue. And then we're going to figure out that we're arguing just because we're irritated about certain things that we need to address. And if you get through that, now you're in the happy phase.
Yeah.
But that's a big trying time for relationships.
Maybe they're in the happy phase now.
I think so. I would like to think
Until the reunion.
And you
have to bring up some...
Oh, is it bad?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that like in the reunion, they're going to have to bring up some...
you scared me. I'm like, what are they... What happened?
I think they're still together. I don't know.
Anyway, Michols comes over, shuts it down, pulls Joey over to the side to have a chit chat. And he's just concerned because, one, he'd be concerned regardless, but two, Leila is there, and he doesn't want it to come back down on his head. So the funniest part, and I'll give her a little bit of credit here, was for the first time this season, the bullshit's not about Emmy, and she kind of walks by with a smirk on her face. And I'm like, you can take this in. Yeah. You can have a moment.
Also, very, very, very important. Maybe you didn't catch this while you were writing down notes.
Probably not.
There was a child back there.
What?
In the kitchen. I'm going to show you a picture right now, actually. Because I saw it on Twitter. It confirmed my suspicions.
I totally missed it.
There was a child in the back, and I'm going to show you the picture right now. Just give me a second. And it brings in child labor laws. Oh, no. Now I am confused.
Should we tag Leva?
Yeah, we need to talk about this. Who's this fucking kid?
Wait, he's got the whole... Wait, what?
Yeah. He's wearing like a penguin tuxedo.
He has a whole outfit. He's got sparklers.
He's got sparklers. And he's a child. Whose kid is that?
Wait a minute. We're going to send this to our editor as well so that he can put this in the YouTube video so that you guys can see it. He's carrying a sign that says, if you're in pain, make it rain. He doesn't know what that means. He's a child. Why is he here?
I don't know.
This is not good.
That's not good.
You know what? We're going to call, who do we call? OSHA?
OSHA.
Okay.
Are they still around? I don't know.
Probably not for long. Oh, we're so fucked. Anyway, but we get to Michols and his stepdad. He calls him his dad, so we'll call him his dad. Rive. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rivelino, I believe is his name, but we'll say Rive so I don't mispronounce it. And he's been in his life since he was like 6 years old, so he's pretty much been there for as long as he can remember. They still have a relationship together, even though his mom is no longer with Rive, which is really cool. And I just think that it's awesome that he has somebody that he can talk to about this stuff. Yeah. And we get to learn a whole lot more about him. We've obviously heard sort of the background. His mom was not accepting of him coming out. His stepdad was literally the only one that really supported it and still wanted to have a relationship with him. But he starts talking about his experience when he did come out of the closet and the fact that growing up in a Latin household, it made him feel even more less of a man. And he would walk into the room and his mom would look at him and say, God, you look so gay. Like, it's really tough I cannot imagine what that feels like. And we'll never know what that feels like. And for him to have this much composure, for him to be able to voice how he feels about all these things, I thought was so impressive. He continues to impress me every single episode. And he talks about how she doesn't call him on his birthday. And he's gotten to a point now where he's like, she doesn't visit me.
Yeah.
So why am I going to go visit her? Why am I going to call her? Why am I making the effort if I'm not going to get anything in return? And again, I can't imagine what this is like. And for him to be able to talk about it, to voice it, I can't imagine, again, how many people it resonates with who are watching this and feeling supported, just feeling seen.
Yeah.
And that's something that he is so good at doing because he's so articulate and he's so strong.
He's done an incredible job all season being able to have a deep conversation like this and having it with, You know, someone who is your dad, who's no longer with your mom, who you've been talking about for, you know, a couple of weeks now. But it hits so much harder when you're talking to the man who was married to her, the man who was with you while you were growing up, who saw all of these things, and he's still there for you. Like, it just shows us how important it is and how he can have a conversation like this on camera with somebody important in his life and open up to everybody else. He's been able to do that so well the whole season. And it's not just like we've seen on multiple shows where, you know, you kind of just have the same conversation over and over and over again. He gets a little deeper pretty much every time. He shares a little bit more information. He gets a little more comfortable sharing all of the details of what's going through, which is cathartic and it's helpful. And it's able to allow him to open up a little bit more and share his story for people who maybe he didn't even realize this at the time. And I feel like when we talk to people on these shows, they don't realize that they're doing this for the most part. They're just sharing their story. But it resonates with a lot more people who are going through stuff like this. And he himself right now is talking to Lake, who he thinks could potentially be in that situation soon at some point, or, you know, maybe already has, or whatever it might be. But it at least shows his perspective and where he's coming from and what built him to this point, which is, one, very important for a newbie, two, very important for somebody who we look at as a strong figure on this show, not just as a manager, but also in the friend group. So it gives us all of these components of who Michols actually is, and it's so important.
Yeah, and he gets a little bit deeper, talking about his senior year of high school, which, fuck me, 2020. Did they have to put the timestamp on that one?
They didn't need to do that
like, see, my senior year is like 2020. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
We're so old. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we didn't need that one.
We were seniors in 2009. That's a we're fuck.
You doxing us?
Is that a dox?
Kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, whatever. We've been doxed, I suppose. But he was talking about how a gentleman slid into his DMs and they would FaceTime and they would talk. And his mom asked to use his phone and started snooping around in his DMs and asked him, why are you saying I love you to this guy? And they didn't talk for weeks after that. So I love Rive's response, just being like, look, you have to live for you. You need a relationship that suits you. Your mom's wishes are not it. Who your mom wants you to date is not who you should date, obviously. And that shouldn't matter either. But his big takeaway is, you know, he could never have this conversation with his mom. And he says it here, and I hope that he's at this point. I don't know how hard it would be to actually get to this point, but he's saying, I'm no longer going to care about her approval.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's able to get over that hurdle,
It's one of those things that you just have to voice into existence.
Right? You just keep
you hope
that you can get to that point. I hope he can, just so that's no longer
because we can tell while he's going through all of these things when he's talking about how his mom doesn't even text him to say, like, how are you? What's going on? It still stings. So I think that's what he's trying to do, is just manifest it.
Sure.
So hopefully he can get there, because she doesn't deserve you to feel bad about it.
Absolutely
That's her
not.
choice, and she made a terrible choice.
Yeah, especially you just found this dude Preston. You guys seem super happy. Like, put your time and energy into that, because that's a much better use of your time and energy. And again, that's coming from a place of, we won't understand this, but we just want Michols to be happy because he's such a nice dude. He's a very impressive young man. Am I old enough to say that now?
Yep, you are.
Fuck. That sucks. But anyway, let's get to Leva and Joey Bottles, because she brings him in. She's a little bit concerned about how things are going right now. Obviously, she is kind of the figurehead of this show. She's assuming the role of like a Lisa Vanderpump. So she's going to have these one-offs where she takes somebody aside. It's a check-in, like, hey, man, heard a lot's going on with you and Maddie. I know she's going out and doing her thing. I heard that, you know, you're feeling some type of way about everything. I want to make sure that you are focused, because I heard you want to take a month off of work to follow her around.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons why that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
One, you can't miss a month of work.
Nope.
That's crazy. Two, Maddie doesn't want you to go.
No.
At all. Like, she wants you to come
checking
visit.
in, sure, yeah.
Like maybe a weekend to meet up somewhere. Yeah. She doesn't want you along for the whole trip. She wants to go live her life, experience her own thing with you not there. And honestly, that builds way more trust and confidence in a relationship to be apart for that long and still have something. It's just a testament to you guys being closer. But I promise you right now, she does not want you to go on that entire trip.
Yeah.
So I thought Leva did a good job of settling him down a little bit. I think she actually genuinely cracked through to make him realize that this is about a lot more.
And I think it's important, too, because you just made the comparison to, like, a Lisa Vanderpump. We don't really see Leva that much on this show. And when you think about VPR, when Lisa would come on and do those pull-asides with single people or two other people or whoever it may have been, it was always to, like, kind of get more out of them, to, like, further it a little bit. Like, hey, let's talk about what's going on with this situation so that we can get the full story. I feel like this cast is doing such a good job of doing that on their own that Leva doesn't have to do that as much. Now, this is more work related. So I think it's important to remember they're working at a bar, guys. They still are.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because that's how...
For now.
I know. And let's just revel in this for now.
Because if it goes the way of VPR, they get famous, they get money, they fucking quote unquote work at the bar.
Joe finally gets a car.
Joe gets a jalopy. He can finally afford 11. Like, get a car, dude.
Yeah, come on.
What are we doing here? But Leva doubles down and says, Lamar said, I need Joe. He doesn't say that about anybody else, but he also needs you to be consistent. What I hope this did is kick him in the ass a little bit, because Leva says...
Came from Lamar.
It came from Lamar.
Take that very seriously.
Fucking respect that. I told you, I had the privilege of meeting Leva and Lamar at the premiere, and he is the coolest, most confident dude I've ever met.
Very intimidating.
He was awesome. Like, he sat down, and I was like, wow, that's a cool guy.
Yep.
But if you're getting this kind of hype from Leva and Lamar, and Leva goes on to say, I could see doing something big with Joe. Stay focused on your shit, dude. Lock in. It might be that you feel stagnant, but if you're putting the time in there and Leva sees it, maybe they go and pull a tom-tom with you, and now you've got a bar on King Street. Now you're moving forward a little bit. So I hope that did what I think it did, because he did seem to, in his confessional at least, be like, all right, like, I need to lock the fuck in. I need to focus. I've been unfocused. So
at least it gives them something to focus on that isn't the relationship.
Because he needs that.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Maddie's not
Focus
just
on your
Maddie.
golf game.
Focus on,
Come on.
Yeah, go to the range, bro. But anyway, we have a kitten adoption party, and Lake and Michols have a quick chat, and Michael says to her, I had a really good conversation with my dad, and I want to give you some advice because I feel like you want to talk to your dad. And her response kind of tells you where she's at. She's like, what do you want me to say? And he's like, well, no, it's what you want to say. She goes to a confessional. She's like, why is everyone so concerned about me talking to my dad? I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
I see both sides, because this definitely seems to me to be a thing where you have to be 100% ready to have this conversation so that it goes as well as it possibly can go, whatever that means for the individual.
Well, I think that, like, what we've seen from Lake when it comes to her dad this whole time, I haven't really seen an indication that she wants to talk to her dad.
That's what I mean, you know?
So, and look, maybe we don't have the full picture. Maybe her and Michols have had conversations off camera that we haven't seen and we're not privy to, where she does indicate that she does want to talk to her dad at some point. So maybe that's where it's coming from. But if we're just looking at this as is, yeah, I think if Michols came at her from like a different perspective, like, hey, I did talk to my dad, it was helpful for me. When you want to talk to your dad, if you want to talk to your dad, just come to me and I've got some advice for you. Instead of, hey, I've got some advice for you to talk to your dad.
Right.
And I think it's a slight nuance that comes across as like a little more passive than aggressive. And I don't think he came across aggressive at all. But it's just showing us that like Lake isn't really ready for that.
Yeah, and I think
she doesn't see the urgency. I think that's another part of it too.
Right. And I think that Michols has that realization later on.
He does,
when they
for sure.
have that second conversation. So, but it's interesting. It really is interesting to watch these two side by side. Just seeing where they are, they're so close in age, but they're on such different paths right now, and seeing Michols handle his shit over here. Well, at the same time, Lake is just not at that place yet, and that's totally fine. It's just, it's interesting to watch these side by side. But Joe and Maddie arrive, and it's
together.
so goddamn funny. Because you just know where they're at. And you've been in relationships like this. And he's like, well, it takes 2 hours to get here from Daniel Island. And she's like, oh, and like walks away.
You knew how it was going to go as soon as they're walking in and she's like 3 steps behind him.
No.
And he's like looking around to see if she's going to like join him right before they get there.
Are we
like,
fake
no.
it? Are we going to fake it? No, we're not. All right.
No.
Well, fuck Daniel Island. And then Michols takes Maddie to the side and he's like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, well, today he tried to talk shit on G Lily, and it goes to this cutscene, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it's the time and place. You guys aren't in a good spot. Now you're taking shots at her friend. She's going to be overly defensive, regardless
So I think
of whether
you did enough in Vegas.
You did.
You left that seed out there. That's enough.
Leave it.
You do not need to keep
Don't
going
double
after.
down.
Don't take your like anxiety and emotions out on G Lily.
What happens in Vegas?
Yeah, exactly. Leave it there. It's fine.
That's not the same.
No, it's not.
What happens in Vegas, leave it there.
Yeah.
that's the
That's
rule.
what we say.
Yeah, totally. This has honestly nothing to do with G Lily. It's just a product of where these two are right now, because she equates to now Joe's affecting my friendships and I feel suffocated the last few weeks. I've been friends with G Lily for years and Joe needs to trust that I can defend myself. Maddie can 1,000,000% defend herself. That is another point. Like, Joe, if you step in every now and then because you feel the need to back her up, okay,
Sure.
you're dating. Sure. She can handle her shit. We've watched her handle her shit. Yes, there's been times like with Trevor where it took her a while, but when push came to shove, she threw that phone against the ground and told him to fuck himself.
Yes.
So she can handle her shit, and you do have to put some trust in her at some point. And it's almost like her ears are burning because G Lily walks in this moment. But before we get there, Joe and TJ have a little chit chat. Once again, how's Maddie? 9.9 out of 10 times we're great. But she has a freak out, and I just want to be real. Don't say that.
Nope.
That's a bad way to say that.
And what's with those statistics?
I don't know. So 99% of the time.
Yeah, that works.
That's fine. 9.9 out of 10. We're great. But then she freaks out. Like, that's just the phrasing. Mm-hmm. Freak out has a bad tone to it.
It's like he has this like internal tug of war going on right now where he wants to present it as the best relationship ever.
Yeah.
But he also needs help.
Well, that's what I got from this
I
conversation.
think that's what he's doing, and I think he started to do that on the golf course too with the other guys. But this was way more like, all right, I've got TJ back in my life. We can talk about things. He'll give me an unbiased opinion on what's going on. I'm still gonna say this is the best relationship ever, guys. But also, there's a lot going on.
But help, because
I don't know what to do.
I have a lot going on in my life, and all of it comes out to TJ. And it's so much more than just about Maddie. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's about Maddie, but it's also what Maddie's embodying in her success. And then he takes it to another level and he's like, look, I'm carrying a lot of stress too, like with my life path. I'm proud of all my friends. You're all moving forward. Brad's got his thing. You've got your thing. Maddie's got her thing. And I'm not. Mm-hmm. That's the root. It's that he's afraid to be left behind by the people that he loves. He has an abandonment complex with the people around him. And
I don't think it's that bad compared to other abandonment complexes.
No.
But it is there.
Because he's able to recognize it.
Yeah.
Right? He's able to say, this is what's concerning me.
Right.
You're all being successful. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Got to make TJ feel really good in this conversation, by the way.
Oh, my God, yeah. He's like,
you've got your life figured out. You've got wieners.
You got wieners. And you know what?
Oh, yeah, I do.
He fucking does. Yep. I'm going to order those sweatshirts as soon as I fucking can. But he's between this conversation and Leva's conversation, it gets him to a place where he says, I'm putting a lot of energy into my friends, and sometimes I need to be selfish. Mm-hmm. You're 1,000% correct. Yep. And that's totally okay. And also, being selfish doesn't mean being an asshole. Yeah. It just means you can focus on you. Because guess what? Maddie's focused on her. She's being selfish in a positive way. She's locked in and she's doing great. Yeah. She would also probably really appreciate if you were locked into something, so you had your own thing. If your thing is her, it's not going to work out. Yeah. You need your thing.
He's still operating in a way of like, I'm so afraid to lose her.
That's it.
And that's really what it is. Once you stop operating out of fear and just let things happen, you'll be all right.
Wow, that was good. Yeah. That was really deep.
It can be deep sometimes.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Nice.
How about that?
That made me smile. But we get G Lily and Maddie. Oh boy. We get G Lily and Maddie, and I'm glad that Maddie's voicing her shit because she deserves to. And she says, look, I'm always going to ride for you, but I was hurt post Vegas. And she's like, oh my God, you had to know I was going to show up. She's like, oh, I'm not mad you were late. I am just happy you showed up. Yeah. She's like, you think I'm that bad of a friend? It's like, sorry, dude, we all were just surprised you showed up. Yeah. Like, we thought that you weren't going to make it. Yeah. That's what people expect from you. That might be tough to hear, but you need to hear it so you stop doing it to your friends because it's fucking mean.
It is. It's very mean. That's the other side of the coin for selfishness.
Yes.
Where we want Joe to be a little more selfish, to take his mind off of Maddie and the relationship and just kind of let things happen organically. G Lily needs to be less selfish.
Because she's just mean
selfish. Think about other people.
Right. Yeah. And their time and effort, emotions and energy, jobs, money, you know, livelihoods, all of that, top to bottom. But Maddie says, you know, you haven't been your best lately, and we don't even... She was like, we don't even hang out outside of the group. She's like, yeah, because you fucked O'Sheen. She's like, right.
That wasn't worth it, huh?
Shit, that totally wasn't worth it, and I do feel bad. Yeah, no shit.
Friendships aside, honestly, it's not worth it.
Wait, the milkman wasn't all he was cracked up to be? Shocker.
How about that?
I picture a Patrick Bateman scenario where he's just staring at himself in the mirror the entire time. Yeah. That's kind of the situation. But
Also, another Green Goblin mask situation. He probably has the milk in the fridge calling to him.
he's drinking milk, pulling a Patrick Bateman whilst
Get the milk.
amidst coitus.
Pour the milk.
Do you want the milk? No, I really don't. You want the milk? I don't want the milk. Here's the milk.
God.
Stop pouring the milk. Oh shit. We're both tired. Can you tell this is going off the fucking rails? But anyway.
No, Grace Lily's hair smells like milk.
Yeah.
It smelled like milk for a week.
You know how hard it is to wash milk out of sheets? Fucking O'Sheen ruined everything. My mattress. We're still doing this. No, we're going to move on. We're moving on. Because G. Lily does say, I want to make things right with Eva. I owe her an apology. I shouldn't have done that. Confessional, that was totally not worth it. We all could have told you that, like we just said. But Maddie says, this is the G. Lily that I want to see, and this is the G. Lily that I want everybody to see. The way I saw it, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. This is what you wanted. But you had to pull this out of her. Mm-hmm. That doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence that she's recognizing that this is a recurring theme with her. Because once again, it was on Maddie to get her to get to this point.
Yeah. I mean, after the situation that unfolded in Vegas, you would hope that she would come back with maybe a different idea of what the friendship should look like.
Correct.
But instead, she just acted like everything was back to normal.
Until someone says it's not.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, you're right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, get there sooner. Get there sooner.
Yeah.
On your own. But again, Lake and Michael sit down. And Michael's like, look, you're a little bit low energy. Is everything okay? And she's like, look. And she finally said, I think this is a big point for her as well, to get this out there, why it's so difficult. Yeah. She's like, there's a lot of pressure being a rucker. My grandparents like built this legacy, and my family's very religious. They're very reserved. And so if that means I have to be more reserved with my sexuality, then so be it. And I get where she's coming from.
Right.
And I understand she's trying to be respectful to her family. But I also think it's a tall order to ask somebody to kind of stomach who they actually are rather than just put it out there and be able to live your life and live your life freely. And you're watching Michael's go through it. And yes, he's had some really hard times. And yes, he's kind of battling with this relationship with his mother. And he may always be doing that. But on the flip side, you're able to see him have these moments with Preston where he finally has a guy that he likes in Charleston that he's actually in a positive relationship with. And he seems to be thriving because of that. I think the sum of it all is that she's just not ready.
Yeah, I don't think she's ready, but also you know that it's going to be difficult to just conceal a portion of yourself away and just act like it doesn't exist for the sake of other people. It's going to create resentment and all of the things that we've seen and all the things that Michols has been talking about. But I think these are the necessary steps if and when she wants to go talk to her dad or talk to her family or do whatever. Now, obviously, she's on camera.
That's where I'm like, is this going to help kind of push her? Is that kind of the thought process?
There's a chance that she is just living her life and doing it in front of the camera and not thinking about these.
I doubt it. She's too smart.
I think she is now, but like maybe, the first couple of weeks that she was filming, she's like, wow, this is so fun. I'm just living my life. And then she may have realized like, oh, I have to probably get ahead of this or maybe give somebody a warning if they don't know or whatever the case may be.
I thought maybe she's using the show as a vessel to be like, I'm going to put it out there and then it's going to kind of force this conversation.
That's a possibility too. Yeah. We don't really know. I mean, that's her prerogative.
100%.
Whatever she wants to handle it, she can do whatever she wants.
I agree. It's just kind of hard to hear. It's like, if me being reserved about my sexuality is how I keep my family happy, that sucks.
Yeah.
That just sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see her progression with this whole thing. She has also been a great addition to the show. So hopefully she's back next season. We can continue to watch this journey she's on. But we get a little date night with Austin and Allie. My opinion of Austin is changing a lot.
Yeah?
He's a strange cat.
Yeah.
He's a strange dude. Even this scene was very strange. He's like, I'm so stoked to have her back in my life. And like, when we broke up, I lied about a lot of things just to even get a rise out of her emotionally, which is kind of fucked up, I guess. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
What did you do?
What happened?
And then later on, he's like, his defense of the older brother not talking shit about Will is her entire family doesn't even fuck with me. I'm like, this is not good.
No, this doesn't seem like a good situation.
You don't seem like a good guy.
You sure you want to bring her to prom?
Yeah. And
Prom's a pretty serious deal.
He gets the pizza and it's like, he's got to pretty much translate it for us. Like, you see, that's a P, that's an R, that's an O, that's
Prom.
Prom.
You want to go to prom with me?
She's like, yeah, so they're going to prom, whatever. But yeah, it's
The full prom montage that we get,
it's great.
where it's just scene after scene after scene of proms.
People just inviting people to prom. You mean prom invites?
What was your favorite one? The hot dogs.
My favorite one was the hot dogs.
Yeah.
But my favorite one, just from wow, you put that lack of effort into this, is the fucking balloons.
Yeah, we get a redo of the balloon situation.
Yeah, dude, I'll get
Just
there.
don't give them to Joe. He's going to let go.
No, they'll fly away. They'll fly away, and then he'll break down how easy it is to get balloons when he didn't get the fucking balloons. But whatever. TJ is allowed to have his wieners at Republic one Sunday every month. You said that was moved.
Now it's every Sunday.
Every Sunday at Lamar's. Okay, so he's obviously doing better. It sounds like Sir Wieners is thriving. That's fucking awesome. I can't wait to try one. But he invites me to prom with the mustard. See, mustard. Yep. Mustard's getting a lot of play this episode.
Sure is.
Hell yeah, mustard. But Mia points out how ridiculous it is that Emmy's throwing a party for Will once again. And they start talking about Emmy and the fact that she's now blowing up TJ's phone, which is bizarre considering she still has weird feelings about him. And I think it's 100% what TJ says. He caught her talking shit again at the Sir Wiener's party to Taylor because Taylor and TJ are tight. Taylor told him. And when he confronted Emmy, she's like, no. I knew this was going to happen. That's not what happened. It's like your response tells me differently.
It seems like she's starting to handle, and maybe she wasn't always like this, or maybe she was, but she's starting to handle her relationship and her friendships the same way.
Yes, yeah.
She's just overblowing everything. Like, oh, fuck, something's wrong. Now I'm going to be completely up your ass and text you 24/7. And if you don't answer me within an hour, I'm going to say, where are you? Are you around? What's up? Do you hate me? That's
exactly
just kind of what it seems like. And look, this is probably all rooting from her relationship. Because that's probably how Will handles her. When Will's at college or when he's at law school getting bullied, he's down in the dumps because he's bullied. He's sad. What used to be his happy place in the bathroom is now his sad place because he goes there and
into
cries.
a locker with his phone.
And he's not responding to Emmy. And she's like, what's going on? Do you hate me? And he's not responding. That's how she's treating her friendships. And it's tough to watch that spill over.
That's a really good point. It's a really good point. But Will shows up with some fucking balloons, dude. And we've seen better prom invitations from everybody thus far. He took a Sharpie and wrote on balloons that he can't even find which one is which that say prom ? Austin ordered a pizza. TJ had wieners.
Yep.
What else did we
Great
get?
product placement by TJ.
That's smart.
He's an entrepreneur.
Smart product placement. She's throwing you a prom because she's not able to go to your prom. You show up with balloons. There should be
That's
flowers,
the best part.
a carriage.
When he's talking about it, he says, she wanted to throw this whole prom for me. She did a great job. And I'm so excited about this. I just wanted to give back a little bit.
You gave her balloons.
Balloons?
With a Sharpie.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is my whole point. You don't appreciate her in any way, shape, or form. You didn't get flowers. You got balloons.
Yep.
And you went, here's the thing. If you take the time, because I've gotten Poppy balloons for her birthday, and you go to Party City, like you can pick out the whole thing and they can like customize it so it can say what you want. And they're big and
He just
crazy
showed up and
wacky.
grabbed the balloons that were sitting at the counter that are just there for show.
Exactly.
Because he probably could get them for like half off.
And he bought a
Hey, the
Sharpie.
helium's going to run out of these balloons pretty quickly.
Great.
Great, that's fine. I only need them for about 5 minutes. I'm going to throw them out.
Do you have a marker I could borrow? That's the process.
No, he sat in his car. He found a marker in his center console.
Like in his dashboard.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. This fucking guy. But anyway, we get to running club and Austin runs barefoot. He can go up to 5 miles. He's strange. He's a strange guy.
Yeah, weird guy.
He's a weird guy.
In tune with Earth.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
That phrase never strikes me.
A lot of people are into grounding.
Yeah.
It's where you walk outside barefoot and get in touch with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
There's something about it that's comforting.
I mean, that's what you say to people who are like chronically online. You're like, touch grass.
Touch grass.
So you can get outside, but this is too much.
Look, he likes to run barefoot.
He likes to run barefoot, I guess. I don't know.
But they're talking about prom, and he's bringing Allie, and they make a joke. Are you going to make out in the bathroom? He's like, oh, maybe. I thought that was Will's thing. Nice job. Nice job, boys. Well done.
Yep.
But they're talking about the Will and Emmy front, and the fact that apparently Allie's older brother is a bully. And like we talked about earlier, Austin goes on to say, I don't talk to him. None of her family talks to me. I need to know what Austin did at the end of this relationship, first of all.
So, yeah, we definitely need to know that. But didn't he already spill the beans in his confessional and say that he did get it from Allie?
He said Allie told him.
Yeah.
But not Allie's brother. Did she say?
She
said Allie's brother goes to law school.
Yeah,
with
they all
Will.
kind of like put the picture together of Allie's brother goes to law school. He confirmed that Allie told him in a confessional, but he's holding on to that and doesn't want to tell anybody because it's still fresh and they're rekindling.
Right.
So it did probably come from her brother. He's just
through
holding
the grapevine.
Through the grapevine for sure, but like
that's a semantics
still
issue.
probably where it came from.
I mean, I would imagine it came from him.
They're setting it up for this whole like Will's lying again. It's like he might not actually be lying about this. He's probably lying about the bullying because like that's insane. I can't get over that. But it probably still came from Allie's brother. Allison's just protecting her for some reason, even though he didn't.
You just call her Allison?
Allie's brother.
Yeah, did you just drop an Allison out of nowhere?
No. Do you think that's her full name?
I don't know. I thought you just said it. I was like,
Allie
do you
would
know
be
her
short
full
for
name?
like Alexandra.
I mean, it could be short for many things. I'm just saying. I
guess it could be.
thought
No, I
you
didn't
said
call her
Allison.
Allison.
I was
No.
like, government name, dude?
Did not.
But yeah, I don't know. We're going to get more about it. I want to know more about the relationship for starters. Like, why does her entire family not fuck with you? And should she be running? Like, is she in an Emmy situation now? Like, what's going on? But
Maybe.
yeah, there's a lot of question marks. But I will say this. It's a great fucking show.
It is. And like I said in the beginning of the episode, we get finale and reunion next week. So I don't know what that's all about.
Yep. We'll be here to cover it.
I didn't personally confirm that, but somebody said that Andy confirmed it at some point.
Well, let's get to some questions.
First one up here from Sharnik1. Are Emmy and Will still together? I believe so, because she is still defending him online.
Yeah, as far as we know, they're 100% still together because of that.
Yeah.
He deactivated his Instagram and she went to bat for him on Twitter like a month ago. So
Yeah. So probably still together. From Daria_PNG. Why are girls even attracted to Oshin? No idea. Milk?
Milk, I guess. They love milk.
Yeah, maybe.
Milk and leopard print mankinis.
This is a great question from Melly J0. What could have been more important for Emmy to have missed Law Prom? Nothing is more important than Law Prom.
Nothing is more important than Law Prom. We didn't even fucking talk about the fact that we were confirmed correct in the scenes from next week. We told all of you. There's no way he went to Law Prom alone.
Nope.
Told
no
you.
chance.
Fucking told you.
We'll do two more here. This isn't really a question from Joanne Beach. Joey Bottles, he's too serious and he's going to lose Maddie. I hope not.
We hope
it out.
not. I think that he had, maybe not now, but at some point seems to have had some kind of wake-up call because they're still together.
Yeah, for sure. And last one here from C Right Fam 6. Does Will know how to play golf? Doesn't look like it.
No, he doesn't use his feet
No.
at all.
There's,
he doesn't use his lower half. It's tough to hit a golf ball without your
Two
hips.
things, and I was thinking about this earlier, which is really funny. The two instances of Will and athletics are him like breaking his arm boxing, and this golf thing.
He almost tore an ACL
really tough
by
look for
keeping
Willie.
his legs here as he rotated his body 90 degrees. Yeah.
Tough look for him.
He's just not, look, he's got a 9 to 5.
Yep,
Give him a little bit of slack here, all right? He works.
he works, and then he's tired.
He does a tie-tie. A little tie-tie. Okay?
All right,
So he's got to go to the bathroom with another girl because he's sleepy.
take a little nap.
Fuck off. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Nope. That's our show, bros. Gotta go.